Hello, gorgeous, and welcome to the Women on Top podcast. I'm your host, Valerie Lynn, and with over 15 years of business experience, I became truly passionate about finding ways to support and hear from way more women. And what we know to be true is that women thrive when they are in their favorite position, on top in business, in relationships, in personal growth, and on top in being real and authentic to who the hell they are. So I invite you to sit back and enjoy the Women on Top podcast. Well, welcome to another incredible episode of the Women on Top, everybody. And today I am just thrilled to be joined by the amazing Dylan Jahraus, who is a multi-six-figure Etsy seller. She's also a former corporate e-commerce strategist, which is amazing. She's also a military spouse to add on to that and a mom of two. She's got this amazing world that she's running, and she's really not just running a shop. I feel like Dylan's leading this empire by leading a large global team and coaching and educating sellers, really from beginners to multi-million-dollar shop owners. And overall, she's helping thousands of entrepreneurs master their strategy and kind of take control and ownership over their own financial freedom, which I just find to be so valuable. And I'm so thankful that I'm joined by her today. So Dylan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Valerie. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have this conversation. Just to get started, everybody sees kind of your Etsy shop success online, but I really want to know the real story. And I'm curious if there was a moment for you that you remember thinking, gosh, I can actually do this. And what was that moment?
Yes. So I thought I would be in that corporate world for a long time. When I started my Etsy shop, I was 25 years old. I had been all work, really focused on climbing the corporate ladder. And I ended up marrying someone in the military, and you move a lot. And so we ended up in San Diego, and corporate e-commerce, not a big thing here. So I was doing all these different side hustles. I was dog walking. I was picking up dog poop in people's backyards. I would go to Goodwill and then I would flip stuff and try to sell it for more. So I was doing all these things, and Etsy was just one of the many things. Nothing was really working, but Etsy, I treated it very casually, threw one item up from my wedding, a letter J that had flowers on it, as an example of a floral letter. And then 2 months later, it sold. Within 8 weeks of that, we're applying everything from corporate e-commerce, making over 10 grand a month. And the decision point came, it was about 6 months into the journey. I finally got this dream job offer from Petco headquarters. They're in Poway area. And it was like for a great salary, great promotion. And I had to decide, do I bet on myself, build my business, or take this safe, secure job? And I just found out we were pregnant with our first baby.
My gosh.
Yeah, bet on myself. Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing transition to go from e-commerce and working at, Zappos and I believe Zulily too, to then just taking that chance on yourself. So, was that shift terrifying for you? And, kind of curious about like the first few steps that you took that really helped set your shop up for success.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but I'm such a builder and like achiever, and I freak out at the idea of going backwards. So, that was the fear. That was the fear. Did I peak? Did my career peak? And I'm only 25. And now, like, I will never have the type of feeling of achievement that I had before. And so it really was, I would say, my husband that encouraged me to do this. He really believed in me. He knew my grit and, my capabilities even more than the confidence I had in myself. And he's like, let's just try it.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. Yeah.
I love that he was an encourager and really helped guide you in that. Was there ever a moment for you in this whole journey of you building this empire? I keep calling it because that's how it feels. But was there ever a time that you were like, gosh, I don't know if I can keep going, and you're almost like ready to throw in the towel? And what did you do at that moment? Like, what was it for you that kept you in that grit, in that resilience, and that kept you moving forward?
Yeah. So a couple times, both in the Etsy business and then in the coaching business too. And like the coaching business grew much larger than the Etsy business. The coaching business, when I started doing that, I mean, we got to 1 million a month, 14 months in. And so both scenarios, though, the Etsy business and coaching, it's the same situation that makes me think about, is this worth it? And it is mean customers. It's actually mean people.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's those crazy customers who like they get the order, they break it with a hammer, and then they like
You're
write
kidding.
some crazy review. Yeah.
My gosh. How often does this happen?
Oh man. I sold to moms, like new moms and brides, very emotionally strung situations. Like, I'm having my baby next week. It's not here yet. I'm mad. Or, um, this is for my wedding. I thought the pink would be lighter pink and now I'm mad. Just like very stressful times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's that customer who would go crazy and like personally attack me. And then same thing with like coaching. If anyone's like disappointed or if there's like a mean troll who's not even like a customer of mine, just a mean person on the internet, that type of thing does make me question sometimes.
Yeah. It's so interesting because, we always hear like to tune out the noise and it sounds so easy, but it's actually not, especially when it's your own product that people are saying that about. And especially when you have a shop that's relying on the reviews and the people that are commenting and that emotion that's tied to that. So what do you do now since you've been through it so much? Or not so much, but you have so much experience. What is your, how do you handle that and make sure that that doesn't like derail you?
Yeah. So I recently joined a mastermind it was a small group of friends, Jasmine Starr is in it, Amy Porterfield, um, and a few others. And Jenna Kutcher, again, it was there. And she actually talked to me a lot about this. And, it's the people. And she talked about her experience with this too, like the people who you don't even know. And they talked to me about like, that is the price of entry. Like that is no matter what, there's going to be, if you're putting yourself out there in any way, there are those people. And it's not about you. It's about them. Like they talked about how they feel sorry for them. And it kind of made me think, yeah, I can't hold the weight of that and let
Yeah.
some person who doesn't even know me shape my future because now I'm scared to show up online.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's just, I think it is a little bit of reprogramming in some ways too. Like having to unlearn some of those things that we feel like, oh, we attach our worth to a little bit as well. But yeah, I love that you're part of that mastermind and you have people who can kind of hold you up in that and understand what you're going through, which I feel like is kind of what you do for the coaching side of things. So I actually want to take it back. We're talking about e-commerce. So for those that are listening that don't know about e-commerce, I would love to have you explain a little bit about what that is specifically, and then kind of like what you took from that to apply once you had the letter. You're like, oh my gosh, this is working. Then what did you do to like implement to make sure that that was successful, I guess, for you?
Yeah, totally. Well, with e-commerce, it's basically selling something online. It could be a product. It really, with Etsy, even it can be a service or a digital product, like a download or a course. You can sell all of that through Etsy. And so Etsy is a marketplace like Amazon where people find you. They search for things and they find you. And now it used to be just handmade stuff, and now it's like almost anything.
Yeah.
And they do the marketing for you. So they get the customers to the Etsy platform and then you get them through search results. So it's pretty simple. And really, I would say what I did was started with one product. And then I looked at who are those amazing customers that I want to target who will pay my bills. And those were people who were spending on events. So weddings, baby, even funeral, like memorial. And they had a budget they were going to spend on this event or occasion. It was a baby shower, bridal shower, birthday party, and the money was going to be sent with me. That was basically it. And that's that Pottery Barn kind of mom customer who's not price sensitive. And I started building the product mix for them. So I just built out the product mix, looked at how could I serve them in many areas of their life for at least 4 to 7 years.
Mm,
So that I acquired a customer and I kept them.
gotcha. Okay, so how did you do that for the 4 to 7 years? Because I know you started with the letter, but then like, what are some of the other things that you added to make sure that you were serving them for that length of time?
Yes, yes. So the letter was positioned as a wedding reception decor. So then I thought, well, what happens before the wedding? Okay, bachelorette. We're getting bachelorette party decor. Okay, what happens else before the wedding? Bridal showers. So we got that. We even did say yes to the dress signs. And then what happens after the wedding? Okay, we have a new home. So now we're doing like centerpieces, mantle decor, housewarming gifts. We have baby. So baby shower, nursery decor, and then first birthday, second birthday, third birthday. I'd have people come back for like 7 years of birthdays. And then teacher, got into teacher because now they're buying teacher gifts. So that's how I serve them.
Yeah, that's actually a really good practice for anyone to kind of walk away with and to think of the timeline. Because at first I was kind of blocked, like thinking, how am I going to serve this person for that many years? But that's so true of like, what are the experiences somebody's walking through? And like, what are those events? And then kind of tying everything to that. Is that a technique that you use to help, when you're teaching people to kind of like build their shop or their customer base? Is that something that you're helping walk them through? Are there other things they should be thinking about?
Yeah, I think no matter what type of business you're building, because it's the same principle that we apply to the coaching service business as a product business. So we think of the customer first. Who do we want to sell to? Okay, and then the product. What do we sell them? So I actually like to go customer and then price point and then the product. Um,
Mm,
so I reverse engineer all of that. Most people start with a product and then they're thinking,
yeah.
okay, who's going to want this?
Yeah, so true. That's actually a really good way to look at it. Okay, so customer, price point, and then the product, which is a good reverse of that. That's really good. Like for whoever's listening, I feel like walk away with some notes today because you're gonna need them. I'm also wondering, as you're sharing this, if you were to start from scratch today, would you do the same thing? Would you start with the floral letter again? Or what product would you start with now that you know what you know?
Yes. So with my product, I have a little bit of maybe a control problem. Maybe maybe some of you guys can relate, but I felt like, okay, this is like a custom made to order thing. I'm not an artist, but I did feel like I made them pretty well.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to outsource production of my main product. Instead, if I was starting over today, I would probably start with more of a product that I could hire or outsource for immediately. And that could be the category of hand picked, where you're curating gift boxes, you're just buying, putting things together, reselling. It might be sourced, where you're taking just party supplies and reselling them as is. Or it could be digital products that maybe I'm hiring someone to create spreadsheets and I'm curating a collection in my shop.
Yeah. Are there things that are, I don't want to say trending, but like today, what are some of the themes that you're seeing as far as what is maybe hot right now? I mean, I don't know because I haven't built my own Etsy shop, but I'm really curious because I know things shift and like sometimes it's clothing or certain types of product that, people are really interested in. So what are you noticing?
Totally. And that is actually one of the reasons that I moved to Nevada, that our family moved here. Here in Vegas, there's all the markets. So the trend forecasting where we do that is here in New York primarily.
Okay.
So we're very big about trend forecasting
Yeah.
because Etsy is one of the very last places to get trends. It actually is 6 to 8 months behind.
What?
So yeah, yeah. The thing about that is you don't want to go to Etsy and look for ideas of what to sell. That's what most people
Interesting.
do. So then
Yeah.
they're just copying each other, you
So
know?
where do you go to find these ideas? If somebody's interested and inspired by this conversation, where should they start looking?
I would say everywhere but Etsy. Even if you look at Etsy, the inclination is to say, "Oh, I could do that," and then you do something similar.
Yeah.
Well, how are you gonna stand out if you have no track record, no brand? So what we do is, for example, we go to markets, like trade shows. where what we're seeing now is trends for next year. And those trends are being bought like by buyers from Zappos, from retailers, from Nordstrom, and they're buying what will be hot next year. So you want to be in front of that.
Well, that's a good idea to go to those trade shows and kind of do your own research in that way. I'm curious, as you're talking, I'm thinking about your origin story. Did you ever kind of come up against resistance from people that were like, "Oh, that's cute. You want to make, products with Etsy and like do arts and crafts." And I'm not saying that I don't have any judgment like that, but I'm just feeling like if I were to do that, I would be worried about what people would think of
Oh
my
yeah.
idea.
Oh yeah. Even even now, even now, like we have, I mean, an 8-figure coaching company
Yeah.
making over 10 million a year. Yet when people ask, what do you do? And they look to my husband, they say, what is that you do? Yeah. And then he's like, I actually left the military and I work with my wife in her business. And they're like, oh, cute, you started a business.
Oh my gosh. That is so, does that just make your blood boil at this point? Or are you just so annoyed or over it that you're just like, whatever?
Oh my gosh, I don't even care. I love the idea of having wealth and building this like empire, but then like no one knows. Like your neighbor has no idea. And it's almost like I don't have to prove anything to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Did any of that like slow you down at first? Like, did you get any voices from like your parents or friends that were like, I don't know about that? Was that a thing for you at all?
Yeah. So when I was at that decision point of should I take this great corporate job offer from Petco or go in on Etsy and reject that job offer I'd been working for, my dad actually said, like he has his MBA, he has his own business. He's like, like you're 25, like you have so much to learn still, like by working for other people. Um, and I think he would not. He's less risk. He's more risk averse than I am. He probably would have wanted me to take that job, but I had other people like my mom, my aunts saying, "You got this." Like Dilly, that's what they call me.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. I love that you had those people rooting for you. And it's not anything bad about like our parents or whatever. I think it's just, they want to protect you. And sometimes that protection comes out as fear. So
Yes.
I wonder if you see that a lot for your clients and how do you help them through that? Like if they have their own self-doubt or they do have people who are whispering fear in their ear, like what do you do to help them?
Yeah. And, this is one of the biggest things that holds someone back from starting an Etsy shop or starting a business. It is fear. And I always ask someone to dig into their why. Like, what is your goal in life? Like, what do you feel like your purpose is? Are you living that out right now? Is your goal to be able to provide for, to take care of your parents someday, to pay for your kids' college, to pay off debt? To retire a spouse? Like, what is your why? What is driving you to even want a business? And like, hold tight to that because if you let fear hold you back right now from ever starting, you will never accomplish that. And if you look at kind of the trajectory you're on, even just financially, a lot of people right now who I talk to, they're like probably 35 to 50. And I always ask, like, are you where you thought you would be financially? And no one is. Everyone's like, I am not on track to retire. I'm not on track to buy this house. I'm not on track to take the vacations I thought I'd be taking at this point in my life. Do you hear that from people where they're like, they thought they'd be at a point where they could take these vacations and stuff and they just can't?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, uh, I understand it in some ways because of just the world, but also it's like, gosh, there is so much abundance out there. And what you're doing is helping people not only believe in that, but create it. And I love what you said about like having that deep why, which just pulls you through and really is this thing you can like anchor to. So I'm curious to know what your why is.
Yes. Okay. So my why, it usually makes me emotional. But I feel like most entrepreneurs or most people who are like all or nothing, like, like I will ride this out
Yeah.
type of thing, they've been through something hard. And so for me, I grew up in like this all-American family in Minnesota on a farm and successful business owner parents. My mom's a dentist. My dad has a fencing construction company. And it was just me and my sister. And then when I was about, 11 years old, I read my mom's diary, found out, I saw the words crack cocaine for the first time. And my dad has been a crack cocaine addict for over 30 years, even to the point where he had an overdose 2 years ago now. And he's in his 70s. Like, people do not survive that long usually. So he's been okay for at least a year now, but that's one why. And then my other why is my sister. So when she was 15, I was 13. She suffered cardiac arrest in gym class. So she collapsed, stopped breathing. She wasn't breathing for 7 minutes. They put a blanket on her. She was in a coma. And when I was 13, I basically became the big sister. My parents are divorced. I know I will be her guardian someday. And, I've been through a lot of traumatic things where it's always a phone call and I find out something awful happened to someone. And I know I need a business that I can drop everything, get there, where I can provide the best care, nurses, whatever my sister's going to need someday. And that is my why.
I wasn't expecting all of that. And that's really beautiful. I mean, it's just like that really hits home. Not because I've been through it, but I'm like hearing your story and absorbing it. And what a powerful why that you have. And I can just feel like that's the gasoline, basically the fuel that keeps you going. And I can't imagine how your family must, just feel a level of proud, just feeling so proud and just watching you step into that. And how does it feel for you now, looking at what you've created? And do you ever kind of look back and like, oh my gosh, here we are?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this summer kind of came to this moment where we were able to buy a house just 12 minutes from them in Minnesota, which was like my dream to be able to get back there before my dad died or before anything really bad happened to my sister. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Yeah. So like sitting in that house and it was like over $1 million. And I know like Etsy paid for this, Etsy literally paid for this. Our profit paid for this. And just sitting there and thinking like, it was so worth it, Yeah.
I'm sure like it almost just takes your breath away. Those moments where you're like, wow, I, just never would have believed this. And something else that's kind of coming to me is we just never know what is going to happen in this life and who might be affected and what that might mean. And I think it's so much more than, just seeing you like, okay, she has a successful Etsy business, but underneath all of that, it's like for this legacy that you're creating. It's so that you can have the freedom and to really like be able to love on the people that you love the most in the ways that you want to love them. That's how it feels like it comes across, which is staggering. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's totally true. And I think for everyone here, like we all want the flexibility so that we have options. And so we know we could quit that 9 to 5 if we needed to or if we wanted to. And maybe you're not going to, but to build a business where now you have the options. It's so much peace when you don't have to worry about anything. And no matter what comes my way in life, like I will have the flexibility. I can drop everything. I can be there for them or them, provide for these people, or like we're always going to be okay. And just knowing I think that's honestly can only come through building your own thing.
Really? Like just knowing like we're going to be okay because it's yours, I guess, right? Is that kind of what you're getting at? And someone else doesn't own you?
And it's your time freedom too, though, where like I've talked to so many people this year where like a spouse got cancer or something happened and all of a sudden they're juggling a 9 to 5 and this. So they have to quit their job in order to take care of the person. And just owning time and having financial abundance, like those are the two currencies that only you can bring yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I feel like you've lived a million lifetimes at this age. And so I'm really excited to see where it takes you and just, the impact that you have on so many people. And I love that it's like really from Etsy. And then, of course, like you're also coaching and educating around that. But, sometimes I think we hear, and I hear this about the podcast and different things that women are creating too. Oh, that market is so saturated. And that's just going to be impossible to be successful in. And so I'm sure you run up against that with the people that you're coaching and just, that narrative. So is Etsy hard to, become successful in? And is it oversaturated like we hear?
Yeah. It's funny. A lot of people when they start a business, they do it kind of like halfway. They go kind of half in. And it's the same thing with Etsy. It's easy to start a shop, but the amount of actual strategy that is in the platform is very low. So the percent of people in search results who are approaching this with strategy and being intentional and consistent, it's so low. Just like with any market, podcasts, like how many podcasts have you seen where there's like 5 episodes?
Yeah. So true. You're like, what happened to this? Yeah.
Think with anything, you can win with consistency. If you can be more consistent than most people, you will be fine. That's what I believe.
Yeah, that's so good. And the consistency is like such a boring word that we don't want to hear, but it really is like the ticket in. It's no different than I feel like working out. Like there's so many analogies to that, but it's like, okay, you just have to keep putting in the reps and keep doing it, right?
Yeah. And most people aren't willing to. Yeah.
Interesting. Is that consistent to what you see with the clients that you help as well? Is there some sort of like block, I guess, that they run up against as to why the consistency is tough?
Say a lot of people want instant wins, instant gratification. And if everything was an instant win, everyone would be sticking with everything. Like so it's that patience factor of doing the thing before you see the results long enough to actually see the results. And most people quit before they ever get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true as well. Is there kind of like a practical formula, or if somebody is currently trying to, get their shop off the ground, what are like just a couple of pieces of wisdom that you could leave with them, that maybe they can implement right away that will help turn the dial up a little bit on what they're doing?
Totally. So choose a customer, and then a good way to build your product mix is to use things you already have. So even if you have like resources or templates or freebies, even if you have freebie opt-ins like that, normally like people opt into your email list and it's like a one pager, a little bundle of something, you can sell that on Etsy for 99 cents. Like you probably have stuff you could put on Etsy already. So use that because that's the fastest way to get listings up. And then always front load with what I call loss leaders. So things that are low price point, low margin. The goal is not making a lot of money. It's just getting a lot of transactions in through the shop to get momentum. So, products that are under $15, easy yeses for people. Because remember, you're probably a new shop with no sales, no reviews. So you want to get some easy sales in. So loss leaders, I would say get 15 to 20 loss leaders in there for your first couple hundred orders and then scale from there.
Start growing. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say pricing is really tricky, or it can be, it feels like. And so just kind of like, how do you go about like determining the right price for something? And have you ever done it where you price something and you're like, oh my gosh, that didn't work. I need to like reprice that.
Yeah. I would think about what's your goal here? Is it to sell one and have a 50% gross margin, and it's $50? Or is your goal just to get some initial sales to see if people like it? And for me, there's actually like a black market with Etsy shops where you can buy an Etsy shop that has orders on it. It's illegal, okay? Like people will pay a lot of money for a shop that has 1,000 orders under its name. So it's very valuable to have a shop that has transactions shown in it. So for me, I would honestly be willing to pay my first 100 customers to take something. I would pay $100 to get 100 orders in my shop. So just remember at the stage of the business you're in, like
Yeah.
you don't have to start with the pricing you want to have 12 months from now. Start with the pricing that you need to get some transactions.
This is so good. And then As I'm thinking about like digital products, it kind of amazes me in a way that people are still willing to pay for some of those templates and stuff that you can just create so easily. But is there still a market for that? Are people still willing to pay for templates and digital products?
Yes, I would say about half of who I work with are digital sellers, uh,
Really?
or they have digital in the mix.
Okay.
My top one, she actually did $117,000 in a month.
My
Yeah.
gosh. So
Yeah.
can you give some examples of like what is she what is she making? The calendars? Are they like lists? What are we talking?
She is actually a couple types of spreadsheets. Yeah, like profit spreadsheets, budgeting spreadsheets, so utilitarian products.
Interesting. Is there an element where you help coach people? I'm guessing like, people you should create something that you really love or that you're good at in some way. Like I am not going to go create a spreadsheet. Like, let's just say that's not my strong suit. But, how do you guide someone to figure out what's in alignment for them? Like, do I make jewelry? Do I make a sweatshirt? Do I make a spreadsheet? What is the right thing for me to sell?
Yeah, so we look at their skills, their natural abilities. Most people, they want to start with print on demand, which requires design skills. So if you have no design skills whatsoever, we will recommend you start with a category that doesn't require it. And it could be selling supplies, where you're simply buying like craft supplies, party supplies. Like you could buy confetti from AliExpress for like 5 cents a pack and you're selling it for $3.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So you look at your skills because, trying to force you to become an artist and compete with artists is not a good move, So we look at your skills and then you can always outsource. So she actually has people who makes the spreadsheets for her at this point. So VAs who can make spreadsheets, you can hire that out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't even think about like the growth strategy that can happen with having an Etsy shop. And that's what I think is also so incredible that you help shine a light on how this is really like a leadership role that you can take and create your own business from this. And I feel like initially I just thought, oh, you have an Etsy shop to sell crafts. And like that's the thing. And like that's maybe a nice side hustle. But truly like it's something where you can create layers and you get to work with different people and you get to outsource and really be strategic about it. So I'm curious, what has been really rewarding for you? Is it was it really growing your Etsy shop in that way where you're witnessing the profit and you now have employees helping you? Or has it also been like, you have this huge educational side and the coaching side and, has that really given you a ton of joy or kind of what's making your heart sing, I guess, right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think, and I was reflecting, yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
So I turned 35 and I was reflecting on a lot of what is fulfilling and where does fulfillment truly come from. Because I've been on both sides of it where I'm trying to get my first 100 orders. And honestly, like at a certain point, I think up until you're probably doing a couple 100,000 a year, that personal building of like your business, oh, my bank account's growing. This is exciting. That is very exciting and fulfilling. And it's like a personal goal. But now, we're at the point where like I don't have to work for money anymore, basically. That's the situation. But what we're doing is building a team. I still love building, but now the building looks different. It's not about like my personal bank account. This is about a team. And I was an athlete growing up and I love team sports and watching like basketball and stuff. And I feel like we're putting together this like Olympic team right now of players and I'm helping them each grow in their careers. I'm like, I saw one of them was actually going out and house shopping for a house. And I was thinking, wow, like I'm funding someone's home now. So that is fulfilling and then making an impact beyond my family. So I saw this replaced my income. It allowed my husband to retire early. Now I can do that for thousands of people
Oh my
with Etsy.
gosh. That's wild. And that's got to be so fulfilling. Did you ever see yourself doing this when you were younger? Like, is this kind of the life you had dreamt for yourself? Or are you just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is now the life I'm living?
The public facing thing I did not expect. That was back when I was in college, there weren't like a lot of influencers, and this whole influencer kind of, you know, being a personality or a personal brand was not really a big thing. Uh, so my thought was climb the corporate ladder, and then when I was 40, I was going to become an e-commerce consultant. But I thought I would just go into like Target or Best Buy and like consult their headquarters on things. So
Yeah. It turned out in a completely different way. I feel like there's an element of fun with this as well, and just joy from even just from selling products too. And do you see that when people start working with you and working with Etsy, that different sides of themselves kind of come alive? Because I feel like that can happen when we're in our creative zone or in our creative energy. Do you kind of see that?
yes, I think there's such a confidence that comes out when you have an idea, you can try it right away, and you see the result right away. And people, it's so funny, like 7 days in, they're always like, I can't believe this is working. And I'm like, yes, I know. It's when you see someone have an idea, they try it, you coach them on how to implement it, and then it works, and you see that confidence build. Like, I had a girl, she went from a few $100s a month to 700,000 last year. Yeah. And her confidence, she just blossomed as a person, you know? It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Just feel like those ripple effects are so huge. And for people listening, it's not just about the money. It really is about what happens when you go through the reps and like you witness your own success, whatever that look. But of course, the money is like a big part of that. It's like that's the after effect of putting in those consistency, those reps. If someone is, say they're selling consistently and taking your advice. Maybe they even sign up for, your coaching and courses, because she has a ton of available resources. So to my listeners, like, please go check her out. But say someone's doing that. Is there kind of a timeline estimate of when people typically start to see success?
Yeah, and I think this is one of the things that I want to squash. People always think, "Oh, it takes like 6 months to a year to see any results." Absolutely not. Like, you should be seeing results within 3 to 4 weeks on Etsy. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
so 3 to 4 weeks, if you're doing the right strategies, and let's say you had a shop, 3 to 4 weeks, you should see measurable changes in the shop. If you're a new shop, you actually get a boost in your first 30 to 45 days. Etsy gives you this boost. So your first 30 to 45 days, like, it should be a good month.
Oh my gosh. I am surprised that it only takes 3 to 4 weeks. And that's with so many sellers. That's like Etsy's not a secret anymore, right? Like, people are using it. And so you just really must have all of the strategy down and can help. And I think that's the other benefit of having a mentor or having a coach or having somebody who's been there that knows, kind of, yeah, the game a little bit. Did you have someone that you learned from, or did you just figure Etsy out all by yourself and with your husband?
Yeah. So with Etsy, uh, I basically took everything from corporate e-commerce. So basically, my mentors were my
Mhm.
managers at Zappos and Zulily, and they taught me everything about this. It's the same principles we're applying, but with the coaching company, I had no clue what I was doing with this. So I took a course in coaching, um, and that got me to probably like 600,000 a month. And then we started working with Alex and Layla Hermosi
Mhm.
a little bit, and I worked with them, kind of back and forth over a summer, and they gave me a plan for the year. And that really took us the rest of the way. None of this was intuitive, I will say, with the coaching side.
Yeah. Okay. So that's like been the biggest learning curve, has actually been the coaching and educational piece.
Yeah. And building like a large company with that many people. Yes.
Yeah. I was wondering that, 'cause do you have 41 employees now, or is it 30? It's something like 30 to 40 is what I was
It's,
reading.
yeah. I think even since we sent that to you, we're at about 49 right now.
Oh my gosh. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot of people just to manage, much less like the rest of the business as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of birthdays to remember.
Very true. You got to do something for your own, right? Like, did you do something yesterday, or what were you doing?
3-year-old soccer practice for the son. Yeah. That was fun.
So you're running this, thriving business while you have your boys as well. How do you balance, everyone always talks about this work-life balance. I don't know that there is a balance. I feel like some days you're not, and some days you're, you're on the mom side and some days you're on the business side more. So can you kind of walk us through like how do you maintain all of that and still keep your sanity?
Yeah. I think it's really easy. You're never going to feel like you're doing the best at both. I just, especially at this age, my kids are 3 and 8 now, and I don't think I'm ever going to feel like a perfect mom. I don't feel like I'll ever feel like a perfect CEO. But hiring the right people, and if you have a supportive spouse like my husband now, he's got out of the military. He has a lot more time to help. If you don't, like if you're too you know, really career focused parents who are just, you have no time, having someone for a few years who comes in and helps with the cleaning and the dishes and the laundry just to get you through that time. And everything's a phase. We're in the toddler second grade phase. I'm sure when they're in high school, things will look different. But get the right help instead of trying to just carry it all on your back.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Just because sometimes I think as women, we feel like we have to carry it all and we try and then it doesn't work.
One time I had to laugh. I sent my son to school in a costume on a day when it wasn't a costume day. And it was like I had the wrong week for homecoming week. They have dress up day. And we literally got through Wednesday. We got 3 days in before he told me, "Oh, mom, I forgot to tell you," because they have uniforms. They have uniforms. And I felt like the worst mom.
Gosh, that is so funny. But you know what? He probably didn't really mind so much. He might have even thought it was pretty cool. Great.
He didn't tell me. He just kept going with it, so he was milking it. But that's an example of something where, gosh, I'm not on top of things, but hey, it was funny.
Yeah. I gotta laugh at those moments. I love that. I could just imagine him like running around in a Superman costume or something and everyone else is in their uniform. He's like, oh, I wonder what's going on. This is pretty cool.
Yeah,
So, what
funny.
is next for you? I know you love the business side. You're super strategic. You also love, the coaching as part of that. What's kind of on the horizon, or what are you dreaming about right now?
Yeah, so we are kind of in a unique position where the team is pretty stable. I feel like we have a good foundation. We are blowing up a little bit on social for what it feels like for me blowing up. So I feel like we are getting this new audience, this new reach. One of the Trump's wives started following me last night. And I was like,
Oh my God.
wow, this like people are like we're somehow getting in front of a different audience right now. And it's just a point where now this is focused on building the brand. What is the next level? How can we help more people and maintain that focus on their outcome and their results? Because a lot of people, it's like, what is the goal here? Is it to make more money, to sign up more people? No, it's really to increase the results because that will grow this organically.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. Gosh, what an interesting place that must be to be where you are and kind of, evolving into what's next and finding the audience that's now, following you as well and just thinking about the different layers of how you can serve.
Yeah.
I love that.
Jeff Bezos said something about how they were able to grow Amazon as well, and he said, keeping this hyper focus on the customer, and I think that is so key because as soon as you stop doing that, like everything could fall apart. So that's kind of where my mind is at.
Yeah. That's amazing. Clearly you're good at doing that and knowing what people want, having that where you're really paying attention. And I think that that really speaks to not only your customers, but your who you're touching in your life. And the people that you're serving through coaching and the people that you're talking to, me, like, I feel super touched that you were able to come today, like, share your story and be so vulnerable. I feel inspired on a different level. And so clearly you're living out your legacy in that way. And yeah, I just really appreciate you. We have a tradition on this podcast where I ask my guests to leave like a quote or a reflection or whatever they feel called to share for the next guest, not knowing who it is. So what I'd like to do is just share what my last guest shared and then give you the opportunity to do the same. And it doesn't have to be, people get all, I don't have a perfect quote. It doesn't have to be a perfect quote. It can just be anything that you're like, oh, I'd love to share this. Which is, so my last guest, just to give a little context, she was kind of talking about how people used to guilt or shame her for working really hard when her kids were little. And she said, yes, they are only young ones, but they are only this age once too. I worked so hard when they were little and I missed out on so much, but I am so present and I am doing so much with them right now. And I don't regret a single day that I worked really, really hard then, so that now I can be present and I can enjoy so many things with them. So to any moms out there, work hard for those several years and then enjoy them with your kids.
That's good.
Yeah. I thought
That's
that was
really good.
different. I've gotten different reflections from everyone, but I loved that she kind of put the guilt aside and was like, I'm going to work for my dreams. I kind of feel like that, might resonate with you doing what you've been doing. So
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And you get opinions from people when they see you working hard. And sometimes it's more of a reflection of how uncomfortable they are with their work ethic or their choices around it.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that was exactly what she was experiencing at that time. And now she's built a real estate business and it's pretty cool to witness that. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'd love to give you the chance to share whatever might be on your heart for the next guest.
Okay. So I have a line that I like to say. I want to put this on a t-shirt or a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my quote, this is how I operate. And I think with the way that everything is moving in the online world with AI and everything, it's so fast paced. I think this is very important. And the quote is, put the food in the oven before it's preheated. Are you following? Or is this too abstract?
No, I really like it. How did you come up with that? Like, that's a really good analogy.
That's who I am. I literally like frozen pizzas, right? We're in that stage of life. So turn on the oven 400, plop that pizza in the oven. We are not waiting for 5 minutes for this thing to preheat. It's basically about taking action before the conditions are perfect, not waiting, getting that feedback, getting the learnings as fast as possible. Because if you're waiting till the conditions are perfect, other people are going for it. Yeah.
I love that. I think that absolutely should be on t-shirts and hats and all the things. It's a really good reminder too of what you said earlier in your story about betting on yourself, like kind of going all in on yourself, and really taking that chance and just like put that pizza in the oven. Don't wait until it's hot, girl. Like just go for it now. So I love it. You have been just amazing to talk to. I hope you feel the impact that you're having and how, especially your why is like carrying on in so many powerful ways. So I hope you just marinate in that sometimes. And I am deeply honored that you chose to come and spend time with me here today. So thank you so much, Dylan. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Valerie. This meant a lot to even have the opportunity to share. And it felt like a mini therapy session.
Oh,
so.
Perfect. That's what we're here for. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for tuning into the show today. And before you go, I just have one quick favor to ask of you. There is a really simple way that you can help support me and help support this show, and that is to hit that follow button on whatever app you're listening to the show on. I'm trying really hard to level up the content and deliver unique value and amazing guests, and just hitting that follow button is the magic that will help continue to empower that. And remember that the world deserves to hear your voice and your stories, and you deserve a place at the top.